Agreed. Greetings and salutations.
The universe is just doomed. 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 Doomed.
Welcome back.
It's us, Nicole.
And Tessa.
And Kim is here, and we didn't ask what character she wanted to be.
Are you the Phantom?
Oh.
I'm the Swan's recorded voice.
Ooh, she's Swan's recorded voice. Because it's the 50th anniversary of Phantom of the Paradise.
One of my favorite movies and my birthday episode.
Happy birthday.
2
This
days.
is Tessa's choice.
My choice.
I have never seen it.
Right.
I mean, I have now.
Well, yeah. Now
What if I did
that
that
would
to
be-
you?
Oh my
And
God.
guess
I'd be
what,
like,
bitch? Explain the movie.
The
movie
whole
to me.
thing, it's just gonna be
There's
you.
another podcast called Explain It Me, where one girl gets drunk and tries to explain a movie to the other girl that she's never seen.
Oh.
And tries to drunkenly tell the plot. It's
I mean,
pretty
that
funny.
would be funny, but it would just be like a funny thing that we would do to each other. Like, I don't think anyone wants to hear me drunkenly explain anything to
Right.
you without
Well-
you like.
Drunk, and that's like me describing any movie.
Right.
Well, that's true.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the whole podcast is us
Well-
drunkenly explaining things, but just to the public together.
right. I mean, sometimes you guys have seen the movies and sometimes you haven't. And sometimes you decide whether or not you want to see the movie based on what we say about the movies. So
That's true.
I don't know.
So before we get into the movie itself, one of our sponsors.
Oh, yes.
You heard her ad, I think, 2 months ago, and you're hearing her ad probably in ad breaks now.
Right?
She, Hex Mundi,
Yes.
has a new fragrance inspired by Phantom of the Paradise.
Just on accident.
Just on accident,
We
she happened to
converged.
have. And let me tell you what it smells like, y'all,
Yeah.
because you're like, what in the fuck is Phantom of the Paradise smell
I
like?
know.
Bird of Paradise,
Duh.
wax, mahogany, thunderstorm, sandalwood, saguaro cactus, and tobacco.
See, I think I'll like that.
Yeah,
I think I'll like that.
sounds pretty good. We haven't gotten to try it yet.
No. At
but
least
we're-
not in present times, but by the time this
By the
comes
time
out,
this
I'm
comes
sure.
out, we
Yeah.
probably will have, but not yet. I don't even know if it's out yet. But don't forget to go to Hexmundi,
Yes.
HEXMUNDI.etsy.com and use code DOOM10 for 10% off.
Yes.
So tell me the cast.
The cast.
Tessa.
So we have William Finley as Winslow Leach and the Phantom.
Right.
Paul Williams as Swan. Jessica Harper, whose eyebrows are barely speaking.
I was going to
They're
say
hardly
they're so far
acquainted.
apart.
I know. They don't even know each other.
She's so cute other than that.
She was in Suspiria.
Oh, that's right. I knew she looked
And she
familiar
was in the
from
new
something.
Suspiria.
Oh, weird. I didn't see the new one.
Yeah, she was she's Phoenix. Garrett Graham as Boof.
And I know him from so many things because I had to
Yeah.
look it up because I was like, his face
It's so familiar.
He was in almost every sitcom you saw in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
At least one episode of every fucking serialized TV show that was on in the 80s. I swear to God.
I swear
I
to
swear to God.
George Memmoli as Philbin. And then as the Juicy Fruits, the Beach Bums, and the Undeads, we have Archie Hahn, Jeffrey Comanor, and Peter Elbing credited as Harold Oblong, who is also the choreographer
Oh, okay.
for this whole situation. This whole situation, which is a Brian De Palma.
I could not believe. I knew you told me that before,
Isn't-
but when it got to the end and it was like Brian De
Brian
Palma
De
film,
Palma.
I was like,
Mhm.
wait,
You couldn't
Scarface
tell
Brian
from
De
the
Palma?
split screens?
Carrie Brian De Palma?
Yes, that was his next movie.
Oh
In
my
fact,
God.
Dress to Kill.
Oh, Dress to Kill.
Oh, and Dress to Kill.
Yep.
The movie that I had nightmares about thinking that I made it up before
And this
I saw
could
it.
easily be one of those movies you just thought you dreamt.
Right, because it's a fever dream. But what's her name? Sissy Spacek auditioned for Phoenix.
Okay.
And of course she didn't get it. And she was casting Carrie, but she worked as a costume dresser or a set dresser or whatever because she was dating the production designer Jack Fisk at the time.
Oh,
I don't know if she could have married him for all I fucking know, but at the time
clue.
they were dating. So she says she ruined a whole day by fucking up something.
Oh, really?
That's what she says.
On Phantom of the Paradise?
On Phantom of the Paradise. So she worked on that, and then of course she was cast in his next film, which was Carrie. And also Linda Ronstadt lost out to Jessica Harper
Wow.
for Phoenix.
And is Jessica Harper a singer?
I
mean,
guess.
I assume that was her singing.
I think it was.
didn't
I don't
seem
think
overdubbed or
I don't think it
anything.
was dubbed by anybody because there's some people have what is it? Garrett Graham's voice is dubbed. But I think she was
that's it.
singing.
Oh, so that wasn't even Garrett Graham. The singing.
No,
well, the singing was
part. Yeah, the singing
so
part wasn't
over the
him.
top. Yeah, well,
no,
both
that
actually
wasn't him.
both were over the top.
Well, both were very over the top, but the singing part wasn't even him.
So this movie, I had never heard of it. I think I'd probably seen just an image of that silver mask thing, and in my head just presumed that was some sort of weird sci-fi movie from the 60s I never saw. You know, I didn't have any connection with this whatsoever.
Because that's what did it for me, was seeing that cover at the
metal
at the
teeth.
video store, and I feel like I saw it on like a late night, like
USA,
Up All Night or something like that. It was
Yeah.
one of those things, and I was just like, oh my God, this is like the most bonkers movie.
Totally escaped me somehow.
Yeah.
So we get told the little bit narration storyline of what's going on.
Which this is Rod Serling,
Oh, was it?
uncredited.
Oh,
Rod
that's
Serling.
amazing.
Talking about the record producer or whatever, Swan, and the Death Records label, and this is about the sound or whatever.
The new
Like,
sound. I'm like,
the
is
new
this
sound?
Did Noel Fielding partially
I
base
know.
his Vince character on this movie?
Right? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because the Daft
glamour.
Punk did.
Yeah, that's
Daft
right.
Punk based
That's
their
what you said about the
helmet
helmet.
thing on
That's
Phantom
nice.
of the Paradise. So it's a cultural thing.
I guess so.
But yeah, the man who made it, the girl who sang it, and the monster who stole it.
Yeah, so record producer. And so we already did Ford Fairlane. This would have been a good Ford Fairlane story, too. He
Right?
just needed a rock and roll detective
I
to come
know,
save
that's
the
what
day.
they needed.
Well,
Well,
that's
I
what
don't
we got.
know. I mean, the Phantom did a pretty
That's true.
bang up job.
He sure
I would
did.
say.
He sure did. So yeah, looking for the new sound to open his ultimate rock palace.
Right, the
Paradise.
paradise.
And the Juicy Fruits. So when they said the band's name was the Juicy Fruits and then they showed that band, I was
I
like,
know.
that band's name is the Juicy Fruits?
Yeah.
I was
With
a little,
their-
because again, without having ever seen this or what's to come, I
Right.
was just like, where are we? Why is it the 50s? And why are they called
Where
the
are we?
Juicy Fruits? I'm
Well,
confused.
and it's funny because they sing a whole song about Eddie. And the way that
Yeah.
they look, it almost makes it seem like
Rocky Horror
Eddie.
Picture Show Eddie,
Like,
yeah.
did he take
Yeah,
off?
because
Like,
who's Eddie? Just
right,
a
just
fictional
some guy that
character
they
for
knew.
the
Well,
song.
they tell the whole story about how he needed to become an overnight sensation. So he knew if he had a memorial record, he would make all kinds of money for his sister's operation. So he killed himself and got famous. And now his sister got her operation.
There you
That's
go.
what the whole song is
All
about.
right, Eddie. So when they stop, the crowd doesn't immediately cheer.
No, because they
They gotta
do,
wait
like, a
for
pause,
Swan.
which like nobody really sees. Like
It's
they
just
don't ever
hands.
really see him.
You
Yeah,
just
it's
see
just
his
hands.
white
He's
gloved
behind, Like
hands.
yeah, he's like behind like when you go to the grocery store and there's those mirrors up top where the offices or
Yes.
whatever are.
And so he can see down
it's
through the
just-
mirror, but they can't see him. Yeah. And when he claps, the crowd goes
yay!
wild.
Everybody's all excited about it.
And then we meet, what's his name?
Philbin, and
who's-
he's talking about Annette,
which
who
we
is-
never meet, right?
No, we never meet her. She's the previous sensation. He's
Yeah.
complaining to Swan about, hey man, I set her up. I told her who to be nice to, who to fuck.
Yeah,
who
gave
to-
her all the drugs she needed.
right, to get her through the day. And she fucking sued us because we can't hold her to a lifetime contract.
Yeah.
He's
But
like, I
he's like,
turned her
yeah.
into the money grubbing whore that she is.
Yes. And Swan's like, it's fine. She's old
Right.
news, whatever. Don't worry
Tomorrow
about her.
everyone will forget about
And
her.
now this threw me a little bit because throughout the rest of the movie, he really is resistant to having a woman be any major part of this thing. And so is it because he just got off of having
I
this
don't
female act? Because he's
know
like,
if it's that. I don't think it's because of any of them being women, because he says towards the end, like, I just can't she's too perfect. I can't handle perfection in anybody but myself.
Ah, okay.
So it's not necessarily
well, just the
because
way he
she's-
treats women.
well,
in this movie
the way that he
too, like
treats
they're
women.
just
Well, it's also because he was supposedly in the original script based on Phil Spector,
so they were trying to make
and
it.
his name was Spector.
Yeah, they were trying to make it real creepy,
yeah,
and it worked.
and it worked because he's a creepy little dude.
Yeah,
He's a creepy little with those big old porcelain teeth. I mean, you'll see them later. You don't see them yet, but
when
like,
he's in the bath in that little blonde wig,
I know
he's giving
that
me
little
Bud
polyester.
Court. He's giving me Bud
He's got
Court
those
in a
rosy
wig,
little cheeks.
and he already looked old.
I know.
Like when they're talking about, oh, you'll stay this young forever. He had to be
Okay.
at least 50.
Right, he's 50.
I watched. He's probably 30. It
I
was
know.
the 70s.
It was the 70s. People rode hard, put away wet back then.
Yes. And so then this dude comes in.
Yep, he was 34.
He was 34. Oh, 10 years
Wow.
younger. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Than us or whatever. That's
Well, just
crazy.
about an average of 9.
Yes.
But he was also a hardcore alcoholic, so.
Well,
Yeah. The
Yeah.
alcohol will do that to you.
Well, they had a whole switch around with the casting, I guess, is that he was supposed to be Winslow,
Oh.
and Graham was supposed to be Swan, and Peter Boyle was supposed to be Beef,
Oh my God.
but he wasn't available,
Wow.
so they switched it around because I
Wow.
guess the only person Brian De Palma ever wanted for Winslow was William Finley. And I don't
know
what else
why.
he's from. I don't know.
I don't
'Cause
know
he's
him from
goony
anything.
looking?
He is
I
goony
don't-
looking.
Maybe they knew each other.
Yeah, I don't
It
know.
was just like his buddy. I don't know. Whatever.
So he wants to get back to business. There's more important business, the Paradise, and then
Right.
everybody shushes him to listen, or he shushes
was like- yeah,
everybody
he's
to
like,
listen
"Hold
to
on.
the man playing the piano.
Can you hear what's going on down there? And Winslow's down there just playing it
Yep.
all. His little giving you the Phantom of the Opera thing already with
Uh-huh.
that swaying around.
with his Faust musical?
He's singing Faust is the title of this song. It's his cantata. And that's what Swan's like, that's it. That's the
That's
sound.
perfect
the guy's
music.
like, Philbin's like, that guy? He's like,
like,
no,
no.
not
Just his
him.
music.
The music. Listen to the music. So he was like, we'll figure out what to do with him. Go talk to him.
Right.
So Philbin goes and is like, hey, we like your shit.
And he's
Swan
explaining, oh,
wants to do-
really?
yeah.
And here's what it's about. It's the story of Faust, and he sells his soul to the devil.
He's like, just
for,
give me a couple songs. He's
Yeah.
like, no.
yeah.
Well,
no,
this-
I'm
you
not
can't
into
just
that.
do
And
it
he
like
like
that.
throws
Like-
a temper tantrum.
Well, because
and-
he's like, the Juicy Fruits are going to love it.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like,
He's
no,
like,
but he's
nah.
not those hacks. Like, nobody sings my shit but me because he's got a temper problem.
Yep.
Remember that shit.
So he's like, well, just let me take the pages and show Swan, and
Right,
he's
right.
gonna cut your first record or whatever.
Between you and me, like, he
It's
makes
gonna
all
happen.
the decisions, but I think we're going to produce your first album. Like, we'll get back to you.
1 month later.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I like
We're
the
at-
little asides, the little
Yeah.
string music in between.
And we're at Death Records, which I love the branding. with
That
the
was
dead
not
crow.
original either.
Really?
It was Swan Song.
oh,
But then
okay.
they got stopped by Led Zeppelin because they have a song called Swan Song. They're like, you can't do that. So they had already made the label that said Swan Song, little things throughout the movie, and that whole sign in the beginning where it says the Juicy Fruits, where it looks all janky.
Oh.
That's because they had to cover up a big Swan Song thing.
Oh, interesting.
So whatever, that's
Okay.
what it was. But I do love like Death Records with like
Yeah.
the little
Yeah.
with the sparrow.
Dead bird, whatever kind. So Winslow Leach, is that what his last
Yeah.
name is? He shows up like, hey, I never got a call.
Yeah, he told me he was gonna get right back to me. Like, what happened?
And the secretary like, oh, let me look up your name. And she looks
Right.
him up and it's like, never be seen.
Well, did you see the other names?
yes, there was a
on that
bunch. There was
list,
like
like
Barbara
Bette
Streisand
Midler,
or no,
Dick
Bette
Clark.
Midler. Yeah.
And Chris Christopherson was on there. Like, there
He
was
does
a
make
bunch of-
music, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a record producer, I guess. So
That's
it's
funny.
all these people that
I wonder
work
if they
for
all
them.
said never to be seen under them.
Right. That would be hilarious. But yeah, never to be seen. So ooga.
And there's all these women lined up in the house that are, and he's like,
Well, he gets run out.
oh yeah,
of
so
the
he gets run
record
out of
thing.
the record company. He
Right.
goes to his house.
Yeah.
Follows
He's
him
like,
home.
He waits out there until Swan leaves. He follows him up to Swanage, I guess.
yeah,
or
big
is-
ol'
or
estate.
Or is that the Paradise? No, that's...
I think that's his. I was a little confused between which ones were the Paradise and which were his house because
Maybe
they both
it
were
was
kind of grand.
Very grand.
But I think this was the house because where the bedroom was.
Oh, well, that's true. But I mean, he might have had that at the
Then
Paradise.
again, you're right.
But yeah, so he follows him to this place, whichever place it is, and he walks into...
That was his private mansion.
Okay, so that was Swanage.
Okay.
So
And this
he
whole
walks
line
in,
of
there's
women
audition.
are singing, sort of. His
Yeah,
music.
it's like all different. I kind of like the like in this part and the later part where there's like the multiple auditions. I like hearing the same song in these different ways.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun, even if they're bad.
Because they haven't heard the music. They just have
Right.
the lyrics or whatever.
They haven't heard how it's supposed to sound. They're just making it sound. So he's like, what the fuck is going on here? And he hears across the way Little Phoenix over there singing it good.
So he goes up to her and he starts like singing along and she's
Right.
like,
How
wait,
did you know that?
how do you know all
He's
this?
like, well, where'd you get that? She's like, well, Philbin gave it to me.
this is what we're auditioning
Right,
for. And
this
he's like,
is
well,
what-
that's my music. I wrote
Right.
that.
She's like, oh, well, I mean, I guess it's just for the chorus. Or
yeah.
whatever. It's
and he's
not
like,
for
there's
like
no
the main-"
chorus. This is a solo
Right.
piece.
He was like, I usually sing it by myself. This isn't like a duo. Like, I don't know what he's doing. And she goes, well, maybe they just don't know who you are because your name's not even on this.
yeah, they like are scrubbed. Well, I don't know if his name was on it to begin with because they just
Who knows?
stole it from him.
They
but-
stole it from him. Yeah. So another girl hears him say that he wrote it. And she's like, oh, yeah? Why aren't you in there then with Swan? He's like, oh, well, he probably just doesn't know I'm here.
Right. And so then they usher in this group of girls, including Phoenix.
Right.
And you see the weird little. Was there like a little trap door, or there was like
It was like a
half
weird
door?
little, like these sets are, that's part of the reason why I love this movie.
'Cause it's just
like
so
all of the
strange.
set design and all the little things that you see and the way that everything is set up is it's such a pleasure to look at.
Well, what's not a pleasure to look
No,
at is
is
when the
what's
door
going on.
opens and Philbin's getting off of some girl.
Right.
And then
he
as
just-
soon as they bring in a new girl, he just fucking pounces.
Bro,
This is your audition.
How quickly can he whip his pants off?
And
'Cause
I'm
he was
sorry,
just
Swan,
out there.
you're getting Philbin's fucking leftovers?
right.
You're having your girls auditioned by Rose
It's like
Philbin?
Audition.
I never saw that one.
You saw Audition,
I
that
don't think
movie
so.
Audition, the one with the what's in the bag? Really? I
Because
swear
I
you're
saw
the
the
one that told me
trailers.
about that
I saw
movie.
the trailers and I told you to watch it. I wasn't gonna watch
That
it.
movie's fucked up.
That's why I had heard about that movie
I
and
swear
I read
to
about
God,
that
you
movie.
told me about like that you would.
I might have told you about it, but I did not watch the whole thing.
That's weird.
I
Well,
think
that
I
was
watched
a really
parts
long
of it.
time ago.
Yeah. So she gets pounced on Phoenix and
she
she's like,
screams
no.
and she's like, why won't you just let me sing? That's all I want to do.
And they're like, yeah, we're not really fucking looking for
Yeah,
singers.
no, we want
basically.
screamers. Well, that's later.
Ugh, yeah.
But yeah, so she runs out of there without even talking to Winslow. He gets caught up and they're going to throw him out. And he asks for, where's the nearest department store?
Right. And so like it just cut to and there
Right.
she doesn't show him getting back into the
Nope.
house. How he made it past looking
Right?
like
Like he was the hot one that got taken
Really?
back to. Did he let Philbin fuck him?
right
To
'Cause
get
he
back
was on
there?
that round bed.
Because they were like,
I
they
don't
talk
know.
about like, I just get to come back. I never get to sing. I just get to come back.
Yeah. And there's just a bunch of girls piled on this big circular bed.
Right. With
And
like,
one will not turn around and is clearly wearing a grandma wig.
right.
And
That's
so you're like, oh,
a
it's
house
got to be
coat.
Winslow, right?
Right. A house coat and is balding on top.
And the girls are talking about, there's like the head fucking pimp girl who's like,
The boss lesbian.
yeah, the boss lesbian who's like, we just
Oh,
got to
yeah.
he likes to watch us fuck.
Well, yeah,
Like,
you're being auditioned right now.
everything's
baby girl.
on camera in this house.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Everybody's watching.
So the little pile up starts.
Right. They start whatever, and then the door opens. It's like the weird science when like Lisa comes through with the red and the
Swan. I'm sorry. Look at his face.
I know.
Look at this little weirdo.
I know. You know why? Is because he paid for it.
I think just drugs probably.
Well, that too, and because if they're all
Promises
trying to
of
make
stardom.
I
Yeah.
always thought Paul Williams wrote this, not De Palma.
he wrote it, but Paul Williams wrote all the music.
Right.
But the way that Paul Williams is portrayed in the movie,
I know.
always thought he wrote it for himself.
Oh,
So that he could
yeah.
be the he could be the big man.
I have a note here. He's so weak.
Yes.
He gets on the bed, like, look at him. He's so weak.
And he immediately notices Winslow, who's trying to talk to him, like, Swan, remember me?
Right,
Turns
like-
around and he's in this terrible drag.
Yeah, and he's like,
Get this F slur out of here.
And
I'm like, I'm sorry, but probably Philbin banged him to get in there to begin with. So who's the F slur here?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like for Philbin, every hole is a goal.
Maybe.
Every goal is a hole.
If you look like Philbin and acted like Philbin and you
Well,
could get
like,
laid that much,
ew.
would you care? Probably not.
He even says like nobody cares about nothing.
And
None
he
of
gets,
this means anything.
You don't see Winslow get his ass beat, but he's now bloodied out on
Right.
the lawn. And these cops come over to hassle him, and he's trying to get help. Like,
Right. He was
they
like,
stole
I
my
was
music, they beat
and-
me up.
Right. And they're like, well, he doesn't want to see you. And what's in your purse?
By the way, is that smack?
Well, they were like, oh, look at here. And he's all like,
Swan said you'd have it on you.
they're clearly planting the smack.
And the next thing you know, he's in Sing
I'm
Sing.
innocent.
It
He
had to
has
be
that-
Sing Sing because it's a
Of
musical.
course, because it's a musical. Is this not what you talked about in Greece too, where it's like it's a musical movie, but it's not a musical because the
Right.
songs don't really...
They're not part of the
Exactly.
Right. They're
There's
just
just
a
a lot of
separate
music.
thing. I
It's
can't
just not a
remember the
musical.
What was the
word.
non-something. Something genic.
Yes, oh god damn it.
Fuck. We'll look it up on the break.
All right.
Whenever we take a break, we'll try to look that up. But yeah, it's like that, where there's a lot of music, but
But it's not affiliated
not
really with what's
an
happening in the
actual
story.
musical.
Yeah. So there's a volunteer program run by
Oh,
Swan within the
right.
prison. Isn't that convenient?
I know, isn't that nice? And all of you guys are volunteers. It's the health program.
And it's healthy for us to pull all your teeth out.
it's a constant source of infection.
And now if they pulled all their teeth out, so then are those metal dentures? Like what are they adhered to? You
They
can't
like
cap
screw
teeth
'em
that
in.
are
That's what they do with some dental appliances. Like they
Yeah.
get screwed in, and you have to be careful you don't get hit on the button because it'll like shatter your whole.
Oh my god.
Because it's screwed into your fucking jaw.
Ouch.
Nah, man.
So then we don't see him. Non what?
Non.
Diegetic.
Diegetic.
Yeah, non-diegetic.
Yeah, it was 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
So then 6 months later, we see Winslow now missing, well, not missing his teeth, now with a whole
the metal
mouthful of
teeth,
metal
right.
teeth.
He's one
And
of those
he appears
bad
to be
kids.
the only one.
I know.
I did
like
not
they
notice
didn't have
anyone
enough
else
of
in
a
that
budget.
jail having
No
silver
one else
teeth.
was yelling or smiling. Maybe
Maybe they were all just sitting there making
It
their. What was the game they were making?
I don't know,
Not
but-
tiddlywinks, but something
Oh
like
no,
that.
it was.
Was it
It was some
tiddlywinks?
sort of tiddlywinks.
Yeah, something like that. They were making some sort
Yeah,
of
that's what
game
it was.
in jail.
So yeah, they're making this game and whatever, and he hears on the radio, or they all hear on the radio,
Mm-hmm.
that Swan is opening up the Paradise.
And the Juicy Fruits are gonna play their Faust musical or whatever.
Faust, Swan's Faust.
Played by the Juicy Fruits, and he
Right.
fucking loses his mind.
Loses his shit. He's busting stuff up. He's running around. He's screaming like a fucking maniac. And he
He
ends
gets
up,
in that toy box that's
Right.
getting, in front of everybody.
I know, and he
Like,
gets,
everybody watched him. get
Sure,
in the
everybody.
Toy box.
They're like, whatever. Will he just leave already? He's probably his
He's Swan's
constant
problem now.
Exactly. Like, you know what? If we could just get him over to Swan's, that would be great. Yeah. So he gets in the box. He gets himself out somehow.
He misses the
escapes.
truck and just lands in the street, and his
Right.
box busts open. And he
Pops
runs
out.
off.
He runs all the way back to Death Records.
Which didn't seem very far. I think it was like across the street from the jail.
Maybe,
It was,
yeah, I
like,
guess so.
pretty
He runs
close.
all the way back
Yeah.
across the street to Death
And
Records.
right past the secretary. Chaos ensues.
Everybody's running around.
He's got TNT he brought with him. He's got a
I
pack
don't-
of
he
dynamite that he
Picked it
came
up
from the
along
jail with.
way.
And he goes to the
Got it
printing
at the
press.
dynamite store, the record press.
The record
thing,
press, yes.
Which was a for real press.
Did they really put his head in it?
They did. They had like all of this. They were like, oh, it's totally safe. It's 1974. This is totally fucking safe. So they had padding inside,
Okay.
and also they put chalks like in the middle
Mm-hmm.
to stop it from closing all the way. However,
Oh.
the machine was powerful enough to smash the chalks.
Oh, I've seen those.
Oh man.
I know, I'm not doing that shit. I will never pass up a hydraulic press video, but not if it's somebody's fucking skull.
No.
So he was kind of nervous about fucking doing
I bet.
this. But I mean,
He didn't get hurt.
He obviously didn't get hurt.
But he does in the movie because he
He
gets
does. He
snagged,
gets-
his sleeve snagged,
Stuck in there, he slips, he gets stuck, he gets
his
smushed.
head pressed into the record machine. And it would have been amazing if they had, instead of just melting his face,
like part of
if
the
there had been a
record,
record
like, that
print,
would have been
that
fucking
would have been
cool.
cool.
You know
Missed
what? They
opportunity.
should, I know.
Why have him get burned in a record press and not
I
have
know,
his head
not
be a
part
record?
like
Come on.
part of a record. He would look like
Or even worse, it was a Juicy Fruits record and the wax was already in there.
that would be
and now he
fucking
has the fucking
terrible.
Juicy Fruits record
that would
imprinted
be
in
fucking
his head.
terrible. It would be like that
Or Death Records.
Or
right,
Death
or
Records,
Death Records.
yeah.
That fucking Hellraiser movie where the CD guy, that one's so fucking stupid.
Who
The
throws
CD
them like
guy-
frisbees at you? Pew, pew.
Yeah, he like shoots him out of his Discman mouth. So fucking stupid.
So he runs out bleeding and melting from the face.
Yes, he's screaming and melting and all breaking down and
He
whatever.
rolls into a river.
He
puts himself
manages-
out. Or, well, he wasn't on fire. He was just
No,
whatever.
he was just melting, but
And they
he's
assume
trying to
he's
get
dead.
away. Right. They never recover the body because you see there's a headline about the Paradise opening, and down at the little bitty bottom was the composer that
went crazy and
went crazy
yeah.
and whatever.
So he stumbles up opening night. I can read my own writing.
Opening night, he comes out. You see like point
You don't
of
see
view, like
him,
it's-
yeah.
no,
You see
we
his
just see through
POV,
his eyes,
and
he's-
everyone's running from him. And he goes in the stage entrance,
There's
and
a
nobody sees
rehearsal.
him once he gets
No.
inside. They just
Nope,
like
'cause
happen to be
the Phantom.
he's the Phantom. And he goes to the wardrobe storage room.
Right, where he gets to pick out an outfit.
And now, what was that fucking helmet for before?
was this for Faust?
Right? Was that
Did
already
they have
going
to get
be
a replacement?
Interesting? Yeah, because I don't know what that costume helmet was from. That was in the
I know
wardrobe
it was
storage
just there
closet.
at the Paradise, just in case they
Just in
fucking needed it.
case. So he gets his outfit.
Yes, he puts his.
He does
outfit
his Doctor
together.
Who scene where he's reborn and he picks his new outfit for the season.
Right.
And he goes to where they're rehearsing, and it's now they're
Now
not. That's
it's
not them rehearsing Faust.
I don't know.
They're
'cause
doing
that
like a
seems
surf
I
thing.
know. I don't know if that was the.
I was very confused by this.
It was
because
about
it's,
carburetors and whatever.
because it's still
It was
the
like
Juicy
surf
Fruits
music. Yeah,
but now in blonde wigs.
they're the beach bums now.
being the beach bums.
Like
But-
trying to do different styles of music.
I mean,
But yeah, I
guess.
didn't see how this was related to the
I
Faust
don't know
story
what it
at
had
all.
to do with Faust, but they were maybe this. Well, no, because it said rehearsals for Faust.
Yeah. So I'm not unclear how the beach bums factor into
I
the
don't
story
either.
of
But
Faust.
even during the beach bum scene, this fake car, this prop
So
car,
we get this
says
cool
the Juicy Fruit.
split screen. Oh, that's true.
And this is, of course, where we see our classic.
We get
Brian
the split
De Palma
screen where
split
one
screen.
thing's happening. You see like him
You see
putting
what's
some
going on over here.
dynamite in the trunk or whatever of this fake car
Something.
or something. You don't know
Ooh,
what
with
it
his
is.
cape.
Yeah.
And then you also see, and one of the guys comes up and he's like, I don't know, man. Like, I got to get out of here. It's like
Yeah,
he's
he was
telling
having
him-
some sort of like issue with his voice or something, I think he
well,
said.
he kept saying, like, first he's like, I just got to get out of here. But then he was like, no, I'm really not feeling good. Like, my stuff, like, he's just trying to leave.
And that was
like,
the
it's-
tall, skinny one, right?
Yeah, I
and
feel
then
like that's Oblong.
What's his name? Chokes him out and shit. Like he's
Philbin
like,
is
"Oh,
like,
you're
get
not
the
leaving."
fuck on that. Yeah, like, where do you think you're not going?
There's like a whole
This is
side story.
rehearsals.
If you've seen this movie a lot of times and you've never noticed this, go back and watch just those three dudes and tell us what the fuck is their story, because there's a whole
Right?
subplot, I think,
I know.
happening with that band.
Brian De Palma.
Because it's kind of separate. They don't really have anything to do with. You don't see him interact with Swan, even though they're Swan's like number one guys.
I'm a number one. That guy.
But
Philbin
anyway,
breath.
so yeah, there's something going on there, and so then the
Those be Winslow breaths.
Winslow breast now that he's in his mask, yeah,
Right.
and then the bomb blows up, and the
Right, they're doing
car
It's like, yeah,
and-
it's in the car. They're doing a rehearsal. They all get on the car. The girls get on the car, and as the car is pulling away, big bada boom. And I thought they all died, but I guess they
yeah,
don't,
and apparently
because they-
nobody did. Because
Well, they
were,
did. They're the undead.
Oh, because they become
'Cause
the
when they
undead.
come back again, they're the undeads.
It is a Halloween movie. After
Oh, well,
Oh,
there's
yeah, happy
several-
Halloween, guys.
I know. Also that there's also several at the very, very end, I guess, if I remember, horror literary references. There's like 5 or 6, and then also like horror movie references throughout this too.
Okay.
So that are Halloweeny.
Right.
So there you go.
So now Swan later. Now is this in the paradise in this big mauve grand
this
hallway?
I believe this whole grand hall thing is the paradise because he's haunting.
Right.
And I believe he keeps him at
the paradise.
At the paradise.
So if the Phantom thinks he's being sneaky,
right.
and Swan's like, bitch, I know you here.
I know.
And I know who you are, Leach.
Exactly.
Winslow.
Leach,
I am aware
Winslow,
of
right?
what's going on. But I can still make you somebody. Trust me. You should have murdered this man.
Right?
Immediately.
Thank
Jinx.
you. Thank you.
Sorry, podcast is over. I just jinxed Tessa. She can't
I
talk
can't
anymore.
talk
Oh, no, I
anymore.
said your name.
Oh!
Damn it.
And I talked
Damn
after,
it.
so it's fine.
So before we get into what's going to happen between Swan and the Phantom,
What will happen now?
now's a good time for a break.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered what the scent of a moment or a character in a film is?
What if you could bottle the way your favorite album makes you feel?
Did we pique your curiosity?
Visit Hex Mundi, a niche perfume house that specializes in creating signature scents with references that conjure up the very essence of nostalgia with pop culture inspired fragrances for your body and surroundings.
We love what they do, and you will too. Go see what we mean at hexmundi.etsy.com.
That's HEXMUNDI.etsy.com and use code DOOM10 for 10% off.
Get there now.
Later, Doomers. If you're a fan of Practical Magic or the Sookie Stackhouse books and love shows like Absolutely Fabulous and The Golden Girls, you're in for a treat with this new paranormal comedy, House of Furies by Donnie Clark.
The Fury family, Witch Alex, his sister Agatha, and their long-suffering mother Rose inherit a rambling mansion in Natchitoches, Louisiana from their reclusive Uncle Edwin, along with a heap of trouble.
There's secret passageways, magical objects, even a cemetery instead of a backyard, and it comes with a friendly caretaker named Earl who's not what he seems.
Cocktails, outrageous outfits, and black magic are the order of the day. Join them as they explore the southern fried town, dip a toe in the local dating pool, and meet their neighbor Helen, who harbors a very old and very dark secret.
House of Furies by Donnie Clark, available to purchase on Amazon, $4.99 for Kindle and $21.99 for paperback. And we're back.
We're back, and it's auditions.
And this time, Leach gets to be there,
Right.
unseen with Swan.
He's up there in the secret box.
And the girl from before, Phoenix, is there in the line.
She comes back, and he grabs his shoulder like, listen up to this one.
Because the first girl was like, I don't know what she was doing. It was bad. So Phoenix goes up there and she sings.
Well, she's like, am I going to get to sing this time? Because last time I didn't get to sing. And like, Philbin's like, we don't want singers. We want screamers. She's like, I'm not a screamer. I'm a singer. She's like, Nomi Malone. She's like, I'm a dancer, God damn it.
I got this outfit at Versace. Let me sing. But Leach stops Swan like, get
Right,
that
he
girl
was like-
back. So he calls her back
Right,
to
right.
sing. He wants to hear it.
Well, Swan is like, hey, what would you give me? What do you like? What do you want?
she's
Would you
like,
give me your voice?
anything.
Anything. He's like, oh, well, give me your voice then. She says, sure.
And she had her chance. So I don't understand where the story goes with her after she
I
made this
don't
big
know.
stand that she wasn't going to, I guess she won't fuck Philbin, but she'll fuck weird little Paul Williams.
Well, I mean, he's the one you're going to want to fuck if you want to get anywhere. I mean, I guess if she wants to skip the middleman. She's like, if I'm going to
she's
have
too
to
good
fuck
for
for
that.
this.
She's like,
Well,
I do
even
not
when
keep my
she's-
eyebrows far apart like this for...
Right? I don't even introduce my eyebrows to each other just so they don't know what I'm up to.
Yeah.
I don't want
You don't
them
want
to
anyone
know.
to know your
I don't want them to know.
shenanigans.
But they were also, when she was talking to Winslow, like they're all hugging and shit just because he told her that he wrote all of that.
Right. And that she sounded great.
I feel like she kind of like, she'll do anything to get on that stage and to be whatever.
and her choice of dancing during
Oh my
this
gosh, she
number,
rides her
if
tiny
you can call
invisible
it that.
pony.
Yes.
She rides her she gets all her snake dancing.
very
and she
70s.
fucking, like,
It's very 70s.
Yeah. She does little stomp. She almost forgets her hat. She has to Indiana Jones for
Yes.
that shit. She just like dances right off the fucking stage.
It was giving me like she's dancing to Fleetwood Mac or something. This
I
is
know.
not what she's singing that she's
just-
dancing to.
She was letting the spirit fucking take
and
her.
looking
She-
right down the camera.
Oh, I know.
Just
She was
right, just
like,
singing to the audience. And that's the only time that happens is when she
Yeah.
sings, I think. No one else looks
I don't
right at the
think-
camera.
I don't think that happens except for that. But yeah, she goes out and it's silence.
And
Nobody
nothing
says
happens.
anything,
So
right?
she
leaves.
She just leaves.
That's
she doesn't
it.
know that was her shot.
But Swan is like, she's good, right?
Right.
And
So-
he's like, all right, well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
And so he hooks, and this part I don't get either. So he hooks Leach up to all these synthesizers and modifies his
Right.
voice so that he can sing to his own songs.
Well, because he tells him, like, you sound like shit. Like, let me see what we
Right.
can do with, whatever, like what it's supposed to sound like. And when he tells him that it's perfect, it's because it's Paul Williams.
Oh, that's him singing?
He's like, oh, it's perfect. It's because it's me.
But I just don't even understand if he never had any intention of him, I guess just to trick him into thinking he was going to sing, because he
guess.
doesn't intend for him to sing anything.
Or just to get what the music is supposed to sound like.
I
because
guess,
that's
yeah.
what he wants. He wants the sound. He doesn't
But then he
want...
tells them all to
I know,
change
to
the
do
sound.
their own. I know.
It's confusing.
It is. It is. I guess it's just because he's a bad guy. It's like he's a bad guy. He just makes bad guy decisions, I guess.
So he wants him, he fixes his voice, but he's only like that when he's hooked up to the
Right,
synthesizers,
like you
and
can
then he has like a little box.
Talk through the voice box. And, Phoenix.
Yeah, he has this robot spleen voice.
Right, yeah. Not the spleen, it's Phoenix.
Spleen, the splenic.
That's Phoenix.
And Swan wants him to rewrite this for a girl, which I don't
Right,
really
he was
understand
like-
that. I guess you just change the notes to higher
Well,
notes, or
I guess. Well, he tells him, he was like, well, she could be my voice now. Like, because now I can't ever sing again.
yeah.
But she could be my voice. So I want you to write the whole thing again. You have a week. You got to stay in here. You got to work real hard. Like, you can't come out. You just got to work. And
Leach still doesn't trust him, so he's like, "Here, let me
Oh.
pull out this clear as day devil's contract."
I know. It's like he goes, hold on, what is this? It's like the party
It's all
of the
written in
first part
calligraphy and shit.
gives
Like,
the
come
party
on.
of the second part and his associates full power to do with him at their pleasure the rule to send, fetch, or carry him or his, be it either body, soul, flesh, blood, or goods. Like, really?
It's just a transportation.
It's a transportation-
clause. What are you talking about?
Winslow.
It's totally. And anything that's not in the contract is in the contract.
Right. Anything that is excluded shall be deemed included.
Yes. That's
He's like, that's just to
protection
protect
for you.
you.
That's
That's
to
just
protect
for
you.
And he's like, ink is useless to me. I need it in blood.
Pokes his. How do you get that blood through that glove?
I know.
One little poke.
Because he's Paul Williams, baby. He's Swan.
So he has him sign in blood, and then he gets his blood stamp out of his own name or whatever.
Right.
It stamps his name in
Swan,
blood
I know. He
underneath.
doesn't ever sign. He just needs a stamp for his shit.
And after that, Swan goes back to watch the recording of this, and his voice doesn't sound like
It sounds different.
it sounds in the room.
It sounds more demonic.
It does. So Winslow gets to work. And Swan at this Death Records desk.
Oh, I know. This big record.
That huge
Does
record.
He have
How
to
does he
crawl
get in?
in there?
Or over the top? How did he get in
just
there?
Scrambles over the top like the little guy.
Maybe
he
it's
is.
so tall and you can't tell
He
because
just
the angle
walks
it's
straight underneath
they
it.
shot it from above.
He has to climb a little ladder inside. It's like a playground.
And the people he has auditioning for him,
Oh, I know.
besides Beef, how did anybody even get through the door? For the
He's just
style
like-
of thing he's trying to
He's
do.
just, I want everything. Just send me everything. I'm going to try to figure it out.
And so he chooses Beef to
Of
be
course,
his new
'cause
star.
He's like, oh, and then here's beef. He's like, oh, yeah, there's something here.
Because he's got, he wants like a more rough, like a rock
like,
sound, whatever.
In the bad guys that I built.
So now Swan does this press release with
They're at the airstrip.
the
and like,
undead,
you
whatever.
cannot take pictures of Swan. Cannot
wonder
take
what the
pictures
pictures
of
turn
Swan.
out like if you
I
do.
know. I guess because he's
You see his true face.
that's probably what. Well, and so these people could see him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess maybe because the final thing where he had to wear the mask is because it was being recorded. So he would have
'cause
to.
But he's on the recordings in his own house and he looks normal. He just
I
doesn't
know.
sound normal.
But to him, maybe it's.
Oh, maybe to him.
Oh, maybe to other people he doesn't.
I don't know. I
Weird.
don't know. Oh, no, because at the end, when that whole thing happens, sorry, it's a 50-year-old movie skipping ahead. But the only reason that it was like that
It's
is
because he had already fucked up the video.
Uh-huh.
So his face was fine.
So
I think.
why can't you? Well, because I guess you can't take a picture of the.
It's because he should be 20 years older. When that, I think that's
'cause
what it
we
is.
don't want- yeah,
So he
so
doesn't
he
want anyone
can't
to
be out
connect.
there.
He's not aging.
Because he's so mysterious.
So you
or
can
whatever.
see him if you're in the press, but he doesn't want any
Right,
thing that's going to go
right.
out to the public with his
Right.
face.
Well,
Because then
probably
people will
because later
know.
the ex-girlfriend
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
Okay. Got you. That makes sense.
So he reveals his new star. So now the former beach bums, aka Juicy Fruits, who are still the Juicy
Right.
Fruits,
Yeah, but it's
come out in this like glam
this
rock.
whole glam rock thing, and there's a coffin on stage, and they open it up. I give you the future beef. This like glitter.
Oh my
and
God. And the curly
Estelle
fucking
Getty fucking hair and that snarl.
like
I just
Rock Cupid or something.
I love
It's good.
it.
It's
I
good.
love it. I love the whole beef. I want the beef sensation. I
Where's
want
the
hot
beef?
beef injection.
Oh, damn. So now back, Swan talking to Winslow again, and he's popping him drugs out of his drug
he was
briefcase.
like, oh, we got to keep you up and
Gotta get you
working and
breakfast.
whatever. So here's my. It's like the fucking case they used to bring with Dare, where it was like I
Yes,
would have
just
no
every
idea
kind of
what
drug.
here's a crack pipe. Like I would never have known. Now
Thanks
I know.
for telling
Thank
me.
you. Education.
Right?
Yeah, that
Those are
sounds fun.
So he takes the music and he goes out and he's telling his dudes to like get these bricks ready. So like they're like loading up
starting
bricks
to
next to the door.
Stack up bricks outside of this secret room that Winslow is kept in.
And Beef's trying to rehearse, and this is where we first hear his speaking voice.
Oh my God! You better get a castrata for this.
His voice. I was
This
not
was scored
expecting
for a
it.
check.
And he's like, "You can do better than any bitch can do."
You could
You
sing
know
it
what?
better than any bitch.
You know
Like,
what?
what a weird
You're right.
fucking thing to say. You don't know how right you,
You
are.
are.
And like these fucking feet boots.
And this is hard Frankenfurter vibes right
yes.
here. Yeah.
Yes. With the come together,
Yeah.
hear me now. And he fucking like slips and falls in those fucking
And he
feet
can't
boots.
get up in them
He's
big
like,
old
"Oh."
platforms.
And Phoenix is like, I don't know. She'd be having an eyebrow thing, but she can't.
She can't. And so they tell Beef to just, because he's like, I don't,
Right.
this
He's like, well,
style's
make
not
it
me.
yours.
Make
like
it yours.
change it and do what you got to do to make it your own.
So cut back to Winslow zonked out on all these pills he took.
Right,
They
he's-
apparently were not uppers.
No, they were probably uppers, downers, in betweeners. I mean, he needed him to finish, but he was like, yeah, at the end, take this one.
Yeah. So he's passed out on this pile of pages and it says the end.
Luckily,
so he's
it
finished.
says the end, so he's done. So Swan grabs his music, walks out,
Bricks
seal
up
it.
the door. And so,
So now-
Winslow wakes up and fucking...
Well, now it's Friday night. It's
Yeah.
the opening of the fucking Paradise. Beef is in there preparing. Winslow wakes up and sees that the door has been
Bricked
sealed.
up
Well,
and his
first
music
he sees
is
his
gone.
music is gone.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, fuck, I knew he was going to do this
Uh-huh.
shit. So he sees that it's sealed and just this
shriek
scream.
that everyone can hear. Yeah.
And fucking Beef is like, what was that?
Like, is this place cursed?
This
What's happening?
place is possessed. He's like, take a shower.
And this antler belt.
Oh, I love the
other belt we forgot to
other one
mention
with
had
the
a snake
lucite
in it.
Snake. Oh my God, I want all of Beef's
I know.
clothes.
But yes,
I
this
want all of
antler
Beef's
belt.
clothes.
How
The
he walks
antler-
up to Philbin,
Oh,
just like
like,
jutting
chokes
it
him
in
with
his
it.
fat belly, like
With his fucking pink sponge curlies
Yes!
in his hair.
he's like, "Oh, just go take a shower,
Right,
cool
go
down."
cool off and whatever. And he's like, okay, fine. And he's in there just like shoveling cocaine.
Oh my God! Or I guess he says later it was speed.
Oh,
somebody's
right,
like, "Oh,
'cause-
you're on all that speed or
Right,
whatever."
right. That's what Philbin tells him, but maybe that's what it is.
So
I
cut-
assume rock stars cocaine.
Right. I
guess the
I had the
70s
same
were
thing, but then
different.
later they said something about all the speed. So
70s are different. So
cut to the henchman under a pile of brick because apparently
he just because he
Winslow
fucking
has-
rages out.
Yeah,
he
he's
just
like the
tore
Hulk.
right through. He busted down the bricks and tore through a metal door. Which, if he was mad enough, he could have done it any time.
Yeah, you just pissed him off.
If
man.
he'd only known. So he's, you know,
Beef's
he
in the
broke
shower
fuck out.
singing.
Beef's singing in the shower, and the Phantom comes up, and this is very much giving me Dress to Kill.
And also Psycho because I
Psycho.
thought he was gonna stab him to death, but instead
Right. He like cuts the
cuts the clear shower curtain
shower curtain.
and then plunge her to the mouth.
Oh no, he wasn't gonna stab you at all.
No
It's just a
singing my
warning.
music.
Anyone who tries dies. It's for Phoenix.
Phoenix only. So the promoter sees Beef booking it out of there because he's like,
fuck
I'm out.
this. Okay, so he knew because he said, he's like, I should have known better than to mess around with the dead man's music.
Right.
So, and they talk about how it's the late Winslow Leach that wrote this, but they're also calling it Swan's Faust. Like sometimes they give Winslow Leach his flowers and sometimes they don't.
Good point. So he's
out.
leaving in
Philbin
Santa's
runs up.
coat.
I
What is
know.
this coat
He's
wearing?
going back home to the North
Pole.
Well, where did he say he was going? He's going.
Oh, I don't
fuck,
remember.
Back home to visit my mother and fucking.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
And Philbin, that's when Philbin's like, it's just too much speed. It's too,
Right.
you're
He's
fine.
like, what do you know? I know drug real from real, and you just hand it out. I'm the one that fucking takes it.
He's like, you don't feel the bad karma around this
Right,
place?
your vibes are fucked, man.
But nope, he shoves him back inside, and now it's
He's
showtime.
like, you can still sing, right? He's like, I still can, bitch. So now, yes, it is time, and the undeads come out with the cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yeah,
fucking
and they've got
backdrop,
that black
they've got
and
the-
white makeup.
which is also very kimchi.
I liked this makeup. It was kind of Harlequin clown, kind of mime, but also Kiss, kind of.
Yeah, it's
Rock
also
and roll.
the makeup kind of from that silent film, the whatever.
Yeah.
Like it went with the whole background. It was that white face with the little black accents and stuff. And they're doing their songs. They're cutting off.
Yeah, they have all
arms
these
and, like,
fake audience
severing dummies
Yeah.
and whatever. And this is all the build up to Beef's Frankenbeef's
big
introduction,
reveal. Yeah.
right? And he comes out in this big old casket with like and I love the
Glitter blood. Glitter blood drips around his belly and his arm.
And
Sequenced.
the little nalgas out on top with the little chicken feathers on
Little
his
chicken
bum.
feathers, that's right. And the Phantom, meanwhile, is hanging from the rafters back there
like-
doing something.
Excuse me, I thought we had this conversation and you were not to do this. So the Phantom's up there climbing around,
He gets the neon lightning bolt.
getting up to the top. And where the fuck was that? Just a prop piece?
That was when they brought Frankenbeef to life.
Oh,
that
it was the
lightning
thing?
bolt hit
Okay.
the box
It's
he was
just
in.
funny that it's like he threw that to.
It was like it was just pulled into
Like
the wings,
Zeus.
and it was on I think it was on like a rope or
Right,
something.
yeah,
and so
and
he just swung it.
He swung
out.
it down there, and that electrocutes him, and he dies and catches fire on
and the
stage.
audience
loves that
it.
shit. I guess when they had to screen this for somebody that had something to do with Led Zeppelin because they had to check and make sure that all references of Swan Song were gone.
Jeez.
And this particular person that worked with Led Zeppelin also managed another band whose name escapes me, but their lead singer, he watched get electrocuted on stage.
Oh my god!
So he burst into tears
Wow.
watching this, like, because it was traumatic. And they had to tell him, they're like, oh no, at this point, he's not going to take this part out of the fucking movie.
Like this is
This
the part.
is the movie now
Yeah.
at this point.
So they just like pull him off, pull him off stage, and bring Phoenix in.
Philbin's like, get a fucking fire extinguisher, get him
Yep.
the fuck out of here. And you get out there and sing. She's like, fuck no. He's
And
like,
they're
hey,
nope, you're doing it.
Beef died so you could go out there and sing. So you better go out there and
Yeah,
fucking
because
sing.
somebody wants you to sing this, and
So
they
you
killed
had better.
Beef. Yeah,
I feel like Philbin makes an executive decision in this moment. 'cause
sure,
Swan
because
didn't tell him to
no,
do this shit.
exactly. So the Phantom's up there with the spotlight. He's like spotlight
this
on
is what I
Phoenix.
want, spotlight on, and everyone gets quiet, and it's like
It's a totally different vibe from
I
the
know.
mania that was just happening.
the guy just caught on fucking fire,
And then
she's
she
gonna
comes in and sings
"Our
this ballad.
love is an old love."
It's a cool song, but it like
know,
does
it's
not go
pretty,
at all
but
with that vibe.
Like I said, I genuinely do enjoy the music in this
Yeah, it's
movie,
good.
but like it did not. It was not. I guess it cooled him down.
And they love her.
They love her
They love
too,
her.
but they also continue to want beef.
Yeah. So now Swan is suddenly
Yeah, he's like, okay.
Oh, now he's a fan. Now he's like,
Right.
all right, you can be the star of my
this
show.
is what we're gonna do. And in fact, why don't you come by Swanage? We'll celebrate
yeah.
tonight. You know, whatever. We'll get together and see what we could do about the show. You'll finish Faust. You're gonna be my number one gal.
But he gets separated from her because the screaming crowd blocks the
she goes
exit.
to leave. Well, he
He
takes
just
off.
goes
He's
in the
like, I'll
car,
be waiting
yeah.
down in the rolls when you're ready. Come on down. So when she gets ready to leave in her rabbit coat, there's rabid fans out
Yes.
there, and she sees the Phantom, who grabs her
And
takes
pulls her
up to the
upstairs.
roof.
Yeah.
And that's where you see they're all yelling, "We want
Beef,"
beef!" when they're
as his
taking
corpse is
body,
carried
taking it
out.
Oh, so rock and roll.
And
he
Swan's
tells her-
thrilled at the crowd. He's like,
Oh, he's like,
yeah,
man,
this
how
is
many
great.
people die on fucking stage like that? Like, they'll
It's
be talking
amazing.
about this shit forever.
But so Phantom tells Phoenix who he is and that she's got to leave or he'll destroy her too. Like,
Right. He was like, he did this to me. He's like, he did this.
and he shows his face. Ah. But it's like the Beetlejuice thing where like
Right,
we
you
still don't see it.
Mhm. It's a.
They're gonna
it's a
keep it
big
for the big reveal.
I guess it was 1974. Okay.
But she's like, no, she's gonna
No.
give them whatever they want.
She's like,
gonna
no, I want
be a
that
star.
crowd again. They fucking loved
Yeah.
me.
So she goes to Swan's car. He sends for the police to get
Well, she
the
tells
Phantom. Yeah.
she tells him that freak that killed Beef is up on the roof. So he sends Philbin, like, hey, you, fuck off,
Get
because I'm about to
outta
take her back to
here.
Swanage, baby.
But the Phantom follows him again and decides he wants to watch through the skylight as he bangs the love of his life.
I mean, they're just making out. Like, he's just laying there like a little dolly
No,
baby.
it's weird, and she's just all smooching on him.
And there's like the big window up there. Like, and I'm guessing Swan knows he's up there
Oh yeah,
because he turns that song
and then he's like,
up that she's
when he's
singing.
watching it on the security camera,
That's also
he can see
true.
him up
He
there.
can see. He's always recording.
And Phantom's got that rage eye.
I know
because he's only
like-
got the one
and he's,
eye.
like, got
And the
cry
madder
eye.
he gets, it gets closer to the edge of the
I
mask.
know it gets. This is what I'm
It's
saying.
like he
This is
pushes
what-
the mask to the
like,
side
to
so
where
he can get
like,
his eye
yeah.
really close.
And he has. I know we didn't talk about it earlier, but before he got phantomed, for a goony looking dude, he's got fantastic eyebrows. I don't know
Oh,
if
I
you
didn't even
noticed that they
notice,
were
no.
a fantastic shape.
Now
Great.
they're just obscured.
I know. Now you can't even see him.
But yeah, Swan definitely sees him watching and he smiles. He's like,
Right.
and Winslow decides he can't take anymore and he stabs himself.
Yeah. Just.
And I thought that was just going to be the end of the movie, but no.
Nope. There's more. So Swan goes up there and he's like, "Hey,"
Pulls the knife out like,
By the way,
that's in the contract.
you can't die. You terminate when I do. So
So he
the-
stabs Swan.
him, and he's like, "Oh, by
I'm
the
under
way,
contract too.
with my big porcelain teeth."
Yeah. So,
Now they're gonna have a wedding, and
yeah,
now
they're
is
going to
this
do the
next
Faust
night?
finale, I guess, on network TV.
Because he said like,
And why is Swan in it now? He was not going to be in the
well,
thing.
because
Was
they
that supposed to
talk
be
about
beef?
they were like, so instead of him dying in obscurity or whatever, he's gonna get the girl. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, because I'm gonna get the girl. So I guess he is the stand-in for beef. I'm not
I
entirely
guess,
sure.
I don't know.
So now we're gonna have a wedding on stage. And we're going to have an assassination on stage.
And he's going to assassinate Phoenix. So I don't understand
How-
what is his deal with Phoenix.
Because he says, the only thing he says is that he cannot tolerate perfection in anybody else but himself.
So he's got to kill her, I guess.
So he has to kill her. She's
well, he
too
already made her
perfect.
not perfect. Now she's all addicted
I
to
know,
drugs and
like,
boning
she's-
you. So
Well, that now she's under contract.
Yeah.
Because he has her sign a fucking contract.
yeah, I don't understand. And how does her
Whatever.
contract end until he ends? Like, how is assassinating her work? If
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Maybe she wouldn't die
He's just
until he did.
interesting.
Well, I guess, she sidestepped something in there.
So that night at the taping, his Swan's high school girlfriend is there.
Well, there's always a bunch of girls, and this woman comes up who's
Who's like,
She's
Swan,
gotta
Swan,
be
don't
like,
you remember
what?
me?
30.
Right. Well, no, apparently.
I know. Well, she's
50,
like, this was taken 20
but she
years
looks
ago.
a lot
She's
younger than
probably,
Swan.
she's probably like 40.
Yeah.
So the girl's like, no, kidding. You're old enough to be his mother. And she's like, no, look,
Yeah, I
have
was
it
his girlfriend
a
in high
locket.
school.
I was his
Still?
girlfriend in high school. Girl, it's been at least 25
That's what she
years.
said, 20 or something years.
Respect yourself. Respect yourself.
And she's like, oh my God, he hasn't aged in 20 years. And she
Yeah.
shows the picture in her locket of like
yeah, she's like, oh, wow.
exact
that
same
shit's weird.
looking
And he's
Swan.
like hiding his face so they can't see. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if he's just hiding from her because he saw her.
Maybe.
Maybe that's what it was.
So Swan's contract is on video. Winslow finds Swan's contract.
He goes, because now he's going into the contract room to find all these contracts to figure out a
How
loophole.
can he get out
How
of
can
it?
he get out of this?
And he sees this video of Swan with this little wig on.
Oh my God, this little polyester wig. That shit would go up in a minute. Just
Looking like Ellen DeGeneres in the bath.
yes, bitch, with those rosy little cheeks, his pinchy little nose and his porcelain teeth, and ever the showman.
And he was going to record his suicide.
He was going to record his suicide because he doesn't want to get old.
Which at that point, I mean, I guess if he was only 34.
I mean, his skin looked good.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
It's
if
just
he
because
can't
he's a
be
strange
young
looking man.
forever, he would just want to end it all now.
So his reflection suddenly makes
Right, you're like,
starts
hold on a
talking back to
second.
him like,
right, let's
I got
make
a deal.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
we never get to see what the devil looks like. The
No,
devil
no,
just
no.
looks like you,
It's
I
just
guess. Yeah.
the reflection of Swan in his mirror in his bathtub.
So he cracks him a Dorian Gray deal that
Yes.
basically if this video stays intact, you stay intact.
You have to watch it every day.
Yeah.
And, relive this moment. And as long as you do, you will remain young forever and you die when the recording does. So that's his out. That's Winslow's out. However, he knows if he does this, the wound that he has will also open back up.
Right, and he'll die as well.
And he'll die as well, but worth it.
And then his signing is also on video right after Swan's for some reason.
I don't
and
know
then
if
Phoenix's
it's a continuous
is right.
real-
I know it seemed
He's
like it was
seeing
all in one
the
thing.
relevant things,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know what's going on. The fucking devil works in mysterious ways. So does Brian De Palma. I
So
don't know.
he sets all these reels on fire.
Yes, he destroys the whole
Yeah, sets it all
contract room.
ablaze.
So does that mean everybody
Everybody's contract
that
is
was
up
under
and
contract is null?
they all
so
die,
any
or
of them-
they
or if they were
or
wounded,
they're just released.
I guess they're all just released.
So now this rowdy ass crowd.
Oh my
for a TV
God, it
wedding.
is a
Did they get these
fucking-
people wasted before they filmed this?
I kind of want to be there. This sounds like, it's like a fucking party. There's
They're
like,
getting wild.
yeah, they had the girls come out that are dressed
In
as
their crow
birds.
or bird costumes.
Yeah,
That
there's
was
a lot
weird.
of birds. Like she's Phoenix, he's Swan, the
Right.
Death Records thing, the girls. I guess those were skimpier at one point. But the girls-
Skimpier?
well, the girls were like, this looks like pubic hair.
I was gonna say it's like black feathers.
And they're like, well, we'll make it a little bigger.
I'm not wearing a feather
We'll
merkin
make
on
the-
stage.
Yes,
Get
that's
out of
what
here.
they look like. They do. They look like feather merkins.
And Phoenix almost like weirdly.
She rides her invisible
Yeah,
tiny
she
pony.
rides
up
her
there.
tiny
She
pony
does
to
that.
the stage.
I do love her outfit.
She's like a
though. I like the
teacher
whole-
at an assembly.
Kind of. She's
That's how,
trying
like,
to get
You guys
in
remember
there
how a
with the kids.
teacher would dance at an assembly trying to get you excited? That's how Phoenix dances.
Because,
Come
the
on,
boys are on one
guys.
side and girls are on the other. Come
Let's
on,
go.
guys. Let's ride my tiny invisible pony up there.
And Swan's assassin's got his gun trained on the stage already. He's waiting
setting
for the
up up there.
moment.
Well, that was the other thing I feel like Winslow saw that shit in the recordings, too, when they were talking about having an assassin.
Or he overheard them. One of
or
the yeah, he
something. So
knew
now
somehow.
He's, after destroying the records, he's now rushing to get to where this
The gunman
assassin
is,
is. So
yeah.
now again we have this split screen. Mm-hmm. The assassin is preparing. Winslow is running to get to him. The wedding is happening on
Swan
stage.
rises up out of
Comes
this
up out of
big
thing with
flower
the
on stage
silver
with his
mask.
bedazzled mask on.
Right, with his fucking 3-inch lifts that he's probably wearing.
And the priest is Philbin.
Right. He was like, oh, I never got to be a priest before. Blah, 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 blah.
And so the shot is blocked because it hits
Well,
the priest because
right
the
in the
Phantom
nick.
gets there
The
just
Phantom
in time.
gets there, knocks him off his aim. Philbin gets fucking murked, just bop. And now it's chaos. And now it's like a whole fucking thing. The Phantom swoops in and takes the mask off of Swan. And
His
her
face is just like melting, I guess.
because he's already...
I guess because the recording's on fire, his face
it's on
is
fire,
melting?
or just because
I don't
it's
know.
being destroyed, he's doing the Dorian Gray thing. 'Cause
I
now
guess.
he's aging.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, 20 years of... Not even. It
shouldn't
was
even
like
be
10.
that
I feel
bad.
like he said it was 1963.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was only 11 years, bro.
And then Swan's like choking Phoenix for her voice. Like he literally wanted her voice.
you promised
me
me
your
your his eyes and his big fucking... He's so creepy.
And the way he dies right here.
Oh, I know.
The Phantom stabs him with the crow beak head
Yes.
hat thing off of one of the dancers.
Right, and now because he's mortal, he starts to bleed and die. He's carried off by the crowd, and now the Phantom's wound has opened.
Yes.
And he's crawling, and it's dramatic.
And here's where we see his
Phoenix
face.
is crying. Yes, his whole
His
fucked up
eyeballs like
face.
melted down one side of his
Right.
face.
And everybody's like still partying, thinking it's all part of
Yes.
the fucking show.
And Phoenix does recognize him right as he's
it's
dying.
you. And she cries.
And she goes and strokes his dead hair as he passes away.
She flicks his little melty eyeball.
And then the blood rave begins because these people are like
Right?
covered
They're
in
like-
Satan's blood, just fucking shirtless. The audience has gone insane.
I know. This is like
A
the
woman
fucking-
at one point tried to like get up to the stage, and these dudes just like threw her back
I
into
know.
the audience.
It was like
It
they've
was-
gone feral. It is like the ultimate rock palace. That's what you go there for. People are dying. How do you top somebody catching on fire?
I know.
On stage
The only
on
way
the
to do
first
it
night?
is
The
the way
second
they did it.
is to do it like this and
Yeah.
fucking rave until you die, I guess.
and that's how the movie ends.
Bow, 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 bow.
How did that movie doom you, Tessa?
I just fucking love this movie. Well, I guess because I had seen it on like the VHS cover when I was a kid and was always fascinated. And by the time I finally saw it, I was like, oh my God.
It doomed you to want some platform boots and some
Oh.
bedazzled blood
And
accessories.
that belt.
And
I
that
want both
belt.
belts. I want a collection of belts.
I definitely want the one with the lucite snake. Hey, I bet we're gonna have snakes where we move.
Hey, you
We
know
catch
what?
you one?
You know what? You got the acrylic too. You could just smash one and put it in the acrylic. We'll have
Resin
belts.
it up, belt buckle
Resin
time.
it up. We'll have belt buckles.
So
But yeah, I just love it. I just love it. I do love a Brian De Palma movie. I like.
yeah,
the
I
way
enjoyed
they
it. I didn't know what to expect. The music was better than I expected.
Yeah.
I kind of loved the little band trio. Like I said, I feel like they have some sort of subplot going on.
Right.
Like you could have made a movie just of what they do when they're not
Right.
at the Paradise. Like, are they also under contract? They have to be.
Probably.
And so did they die too? You know, like I want to
Or
know
they're the
more about.
undeads.
Oh, are they really the undead?
Are they really
Is that
undead?
why?
Did
'Cause
they
they were under
die at the end
contract.
of all of that? Like who knows?
Is
what
that
was
because they
happening?
didn't have face makeup before that, and then they had
That's
face makeup? So did they
true.
die in that explosion, and they were the undead?
Well, because that's what I thought, that they had died in the explosion because they
Maybe.
were all sitting on top of that fucking car. I mean, someone's leg got fucking blown off. Like I'm saying, it's worth to watch it and try to like get up and listen to these side conversations that
Right.
are happening in these.
the little
Because
groups
it's just,
off to the
just for
side.
information, just because it's fun.
But it's of course available nowhere to watch. So good
course
luck.
not.
Rent it.
Of course not. You know what? Just buy it. It's worth
I
having.
feel like it's 50 years old. It's got to be on like the Internet Online
know.
Archive or something, right? I didn't even think to check.
You know
there.
what? It only comes up. You know what? Maybe because it's going to be 50. That might be the thing. But every once in a while, like someone will have it out on YouTube, and then when that one gets taken away, like it comes up on Shudder or Tubi
So yeah,
or
take
whatever.
a look for it. Maybe you'll
You
find it.
never ever know. It pops up in the most unexpected places, and
It's
it's
worth a
always
watch.
a good fucking time. I love it.
So
Only $20 on Shop Factory. On
oh, you can just buy it on Blu-ray for
yeah.
$20 if you
$20,
are already
yeah.
a fan and you want
And
a
there's
physical
probably-
copy.
It's
like-
a collector's edition. There's a bunch of.
Oh
extras
yeah,
and
like a
stuff.
bunch of that's what I was gonna say. There's probably a bunch of extra shit.
Only $20
That's what I
for
meant to
Shop.
do, was just to buy it just to have it, because I really do love this movie. I really do love this movie.
So now that our birthday month is over,
Yes.
next month we're bringing you Nightmare November.
Right, as if the spooky season.
Well,
which
we didn't
really
do.
wasn't all that.
See, we didn't
super
do a ton of spooky, so we're gonna get. It's not super spooky, but we got
Right.
a couple that you could maybe argue are some.
Yeah. I mean, this one in particular is listed as a horror comedy. So
But yeah, my
I feel
birthday
like we've
pick
kept
wasn't-
a very green
we
color
kept it-
palette.
Yeah, but we kept it like kind of darker sort of
A little
movies,
bit.
but just not really Halloween
Yeah,
necessarily.
not like super. Well, we've done that. We've been doing this a few years now, so like
Yeah.
we've done all that. Like you gotta spread it out. But yeah, we got nightmares coming for you. We've got stalkers, hostages, your biggest fan.
Yep.
We've got
I'm trying to remember
40th
what all of them are now.
anniversary
Yeah,
of Icon.
it's all coming at you.
It's all coming at you in Nightmare November. So you better stay tuned.
And if you haven't already, give us a 5-star rating or a review if you're on that kind of platform. Follow us on social media. Doom Generation Pod at Instagram. Call us or send us a text at 702-720-DOOM. Or if you don't remember how those letters work, 702-720-3666. And until next week.
We'll talk at you next time.
Later, Doomers.